Welcome back to the Medium Cool Show. Today, we're going to talk about Ferrari from 2023. I had this movie in my top 3 movies of 2023. Yeah, I fuck with this movie. So, let's get into it. So earlier this year, we had a discussion. We had a video called What to Expect from Michael Mann's Ferrari. How were your expectations for this movie, and then how were they how were they met when you saw it and shit? And maybe you can describe your viewing experience.
Yeah, my expectations for this movie, man, I don't want to say the trailer really influenced me, but I definitely did. Like, I watched the trailer and I wasn't as excited for it as I was at
Yeah,
the beginning
same.
of the year, you know?
Same. Like the trailer kind of took the wind out of my sails, but that's maybe that why my expectations were lowered. And when I went to go see it, I was like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I fuck with it.
Mm-hmm. So, I kind of went into it thinking, like, this is just going to be another Michael Mann biopic. Like, I'd seen Ollie
Mm.
and whatnot. And, like, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, Michael Mann can do what he wants. He definitely earned that right. But he's definitely more interested in that right now than he is in doing what I want Michael Mann to do, which is, like, more Heat, more Collateral, kind of, like, crime drama.
Mm.
That's fine. Like, I think you should be able to make what you want. You should. I just had low expectations going into this. It didn't really blow me away. I will say that Adam Driver is amazing in this. I think Penelope Cruz is fucking phenomenal in this as well. I don't know. I expected more action, but it was more like business logistics of, like,
Yeah,
how they're gonna, like, promote Ferrari and how they're gonna, like, keep this business going, and they're really trying to fucking beat Maserati, like,
yeah,
fuck Maserati and
I like
shit.
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. The thing that blew me away in this, though, like, there's one thing that blew me away. It was definitely the crash.
Mm.
Did not see that coming. Did not see. I mean, I saw it coming from the trailer. I did not see how brutal it was gonna be.
Mm. Yeah, the
It,
crash is like it's in the trailer, but not like what actually like occurs when it happens. But yeah, definitely that. I definitely like this movie because it's not a perfect film. Like it's definitely like not the best movie ever, but I just like how Adam Driver is just like this like cold asshole, and he like stays a cold asshole the whole movie, and it's not like he changes or anything, and still like he gets what he wants. I just feel like, and it's like Michael Mann is an older guy now. He's like probably like what, almost 80 and shit. He's an older dude, but he's like a boomer type guy, and he's like, no, I'm gonna make a movie now in 2023. It's not gonna have anything about like it's not gonna have any commentary about like society. It's not gonna have anything about like whatever. It's about a guy, and also his relationship with his wife and his mistress. And it's very clear he's not a good guy, but I still feel like they do portray those women dimensionally. It's not just like, oh, like they're not like just objects or
yeah,
whatever. And that dynamic is really interesting. Penelope Cruz has a really pivotal role in this, and like she's like her role is like hanging on the whole entire company is pretty much kind of based on her. She can like shut it down like that,
yeah.
and
But
it's
she
just
also puts in a lot of work to, like, make it succeed.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. And it's just like I just like how he's just like this guy in sunglasses all the time,
yeah, yeah.
and it's just like funny. And then I really, really was like the beginning definitely takes its time, and maybe you could say it's like boring, but then when we get to like the third act of the actual race, and the stakes of the whole movie is that if they don't win this race, then the whole company is done, because if they don't win the race, then like they're not going to be able to sell the amount of cars that they need to keep the company alive. And that's kind of like the whole all the stakes of it. And I just like, and I like the business logistics. I like seeing someone do their job for something like the behind the scenes of something like this that I haven't really seen before, and then him talking to the different drivers and why we need this driver for this car, and then maybe you need a younger guy who's really good at driving, but he's young and not experienced. Then you have the older guy who's driving this car because maybe he doesn't have the best reflexes, but he like knows he has the experience compared to the young fresh dude who's
Yeah.
like has maybe more agile and has better reflexes or something. That's just really interesting. And then they're like doing the car testing and the whole business of like we're gonna get maybe bought. Like I love the scene where he's like, oh, just maybe say, like he talks to the reporter, the journalist, and he's like, oh, I wouldn't maybe put a rumor out there that I'm selling Ferrari, but I'm not. I'm not selling Ferrari, but like maybe put a rumor out there that I am.
Yeah.
So then like you can see it's just like this sort of like chess game he's playing
Yeah.
with like his different options. I thought that was like really interesting.
Yeah.
Just for me, like I saw this movie in Rome, Italy, and like I was on Via Veneto, which is like a really famous windy street. It's in La Dolce Vita, and I had an Americano with my aunt and my dad. My dad doesn't drink coffee, but I had an Americano, so I was kind of like wired. And then I went down the street to the cinema, Piazza Barberini, and I watched this movie, and it was a very special experience
Yeah.
to like see Ferrari in Rome, even though they're all speaking English and Italian accents.
Yeah.
But it's like it's in like in Italy.
Yeah.
Ferrari is Italian, so I thought that was like cool. And then the whole race in the end was I was definitely paying attention.
Yeah.
Like in my seat, like watching that shit.
Yeah, I like it because it was like you don't really see like you don't know the logistics of like a race just as like a normal person nowadays, especially if you follow racing now. It's like, yeah, they race for like an hour and a half and it's over. You know, like who won? You know, but this is like they wake up at like dawn, like before the sun goes up, and they're fucking racing like over like all of Italy. It seems like, you know, and it was really cool just like seeing like the very like vintage cars and like the racers, you know, writing letters to their loved ones before they race of like, there's a high chance I'm not going to come back from this. And like, they're not just racing and like to do it. They're racing and it's like a fucking like, it's almost a death sentence in a way. You know? Like that's like crazy to me. And like, they're willing to put their life on the line for this like thing that like drives them so much. And like,
and that's the whole thing. Cause the first race there's two races. The first race, they lose, and he has like a speech to them at the dinner, and he's like, "You guys need to commit to the turn. Like the reason why you like lost is because you guys got scared, and you're not committed. And the reason why Maserati won is because they take that risk that they might die for the turn to win. And you guys need to do that. You guys need to like, I don't want you to race with me if you're not going to take that turn and try to like." Beat them out because you're afraid you're going to crash. Like this is like, you know, you're taking that risk. If you don't want to do it, then I don't want you on my team.
Yeah.
And they have to make that decision like, fuck, like I'm risking my life for this race. Like how committed am I?
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of like a whole like theme, even with like Michael Mann's work. Anyone who has a job in a Michael Mann movie, they're like fully committed.
Yeah.
Like mentally and like philosophically with like that purpose of fucking doing the job better than anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole thing that I like really fuck with this movie.
Michael Mann can make a movie about a coal miner and it would be like
Yeah.
Some like deep philosophical morals that this man follows, you know?
Yeah,
like,
that's why it's sick, dude. That's why I like this movie, because like they have a code, and Enzo Ferrari has a code, and the reason why he succeeds is because he sticks to his philosophy, and it's not like that he's like a great like guy or whatever. Like he's like, dude, like this is what it takes to like win. And like he you know.
Yeah.
He gets it in the end, because obviously Ferrari, like, it still exists.
Yeah.
And shit.
I mean, it's like so world renowned, you know?
Yeah, and the cars are, and I like seeing the period piece and the cars and shit.
Yeah, it's really cool. The other thing I love too about this movie is I love his relationship with Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
Where it's like this unbreakable bond that they share over losing a son together, and they're tied together through this like great tragedy that they like will never be able to escape one another, and it's just sad, but their relationship's different now, and like they grow apart, you know, but like they can't get past the fact that like they had so much love for their son and like the way like their family was, you know. And I just think that's like really interesting, that like push and pull dynamic that they have together on screen.
Yeah, I agree.
And it definitely drives both of them in a way, like losing their son like pushes them to like do better and succeed better, just like for no other reason than just like it gives them purpose in life, you know. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, and he's like a boss, and she says to him, he's like, yeah, like you don't want to sell your company because then you're going to be working for someone else, and you don't know what that's like to not be a boss.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's true.
Like he's very much about having his own control of his own kingdom, and he'd rather like fail trying to do it his way than to like
Yeah.
take orders from someone else. You
Yeah.
know? Like he's the boss of his own body, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He is. Yeah. Very thief-like.
yeah.
But yeah. Ferrari. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's worth a watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it for everyone? I don't know. Like I fuck with it. I like Michael Mann. I feel like it was a return to form for him as a director, and it's cool that he's put out a movie like this of the like certain quality. Like I said, when I first saw the trailer, I was kind of like, oh, because when I had seen House of Gucci, I was like, holy fuck, this is disappointing. And that's not Michael Mann, but I was like,
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh,
But that's how I was.
House of Gucci.
That's how I was feeling about Ridley Scott, Napoleon.
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck, House of Gucci." Are you kidding me? You know?
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, yeah, Ferrari 2023. Leave a comment below and like and subscribe.